How did screen time guidelines evolve? Have you ever wondered how screen time guidelines have changed over the years? The journey of these guidelines reflects our evolving relationship with technology and children. In the 1990s, the focus was primarily on television. Experts advised parents to watch television with their children and recommended no screen exposure for kids under 2 years old. Back then, screens were mostly limited to televisions, and concerns revolved around the lack of educational value and potential negative effects of passive viewing. As we moved into the 2000s, technology began to change rapidly. The introduction of smartphones, tablets, and gaming consoles expanded the definition of screen time. In 1999, the American Academy of Pediatrics issued its first formal screen media guidelines. They recommended less than 2 hours of screen time per day for children and no screen time for babies under 2. These guidelines were updated in 2011 and again in 2016. The updates reflected new research and the changing landscape of technology. For children aged 2 to 5, the recommendation became no more than 1 hour of screen time per day. They also allowed video chatting for children under 2, acknowledging the importance of social connection. Parents were encouraged to avoid screens during meals and before bedtime. Globally, organizations like the World Health Organization have similar guidelines. They recommend no screen time for infants under 1 year and limiting sedentary screen time to 1 hour or less for children aged 2 to 4. These guidelines also highlight the importance of physical activity and adequate sleep, linking excessive screen time to health risks like obesity. In the United Kingdom, health authorities have been less strict with very young children due to limited evidence. However, they generally recommend no more than 2 hours of screen time daily for children and adults alike. Over time, the focus of screen time guidelines has shifted. It is no longer just about limiting exposure to screens. There is now a broader understanding of how different types of screen use, like passive watching versus interactive use, affect children's development. This evolution is especially relevant for Generation Alpha, who are digital natives. They grow up surrounded by smartphones, tablets, and constant connectivity. Today, guidelines emphasize not just the amount of screen time but also the quality of content and the context in which screens are used. Families with Generation Alpha kids are encouraged to balance screen use with physical activity, social interaction, and sleep. They should choose age-appropriate and educational content while setting consistent limits that fit their child's needs and lifestyle. This shift means that parents are now looking at how screens can support learning, creativity, and social connections. The guidelines have evolved into a more nuanced approach, focusing on the overall well-being of children in a digital world.